Is Watchmen Season 2 really dead? Well, don't believe everything you've heard. Watchmen ended its nearly perfect 9-episode run on HBO late in 2019, with an ending that was equally explosive and personal and open-ended, and we won't say anything more about that before the spoiler warning. But suffice it to say, on a scale of 1 to 10 giant blue dongs, this series scored a perfect 10. Who wrote this?
Steven?
You're not wrong. Now, of course, one of the many pressing questions on fans' mind after the credits rolled was, is there going to be another season? Now, before we get into things too far, you should know that this episode of Nerdist News is going to be all kinds of spoilery about HBO's Watchmen. So if you haven't seen it, pause this video for approximately 9 hours, then come back afterwards. And during those 9 hours, the implication is you should watch it. Otherwise, what are you doing with your life? And if you have seen it, give us a like and subscribe. So folks, if you're still here, it's safe to assume you've seen the show and remember how Watchmen's first season ended with basically everyone's plans thwarted, with the 7th Cavalry destroying Dr. Manhattan, Lady True destroying the 7th Cavalry, and Ozymandias destroying Lady True. But it's the final scene where Angela Abar's about to find out if she's been gifted Dr. Manhattan's powers, ending right before we find out the answer to that question. And that had fans on the edge of their seats. Does she or doesn't she? While some were content with the open-ended nature of this shot, akin to Inception's spinning top or the finale of The Sopranos, there's no denying that there's still plenty of story left to tell thanks to the excellent world building from everyone involved, and many were hopeful that a second season might be in the cards. But those hopes for a second season appeared to be dashed when USA Today reported on Thursday that HBO was not going to pursue a second season because Watchmen showrunner Damon Lindelof was not going to be involved. So what did that say? HBO programming chief Casey Bloys told USA Today, it's really in Damon's thinking about what he wants to do. If there's an idea that excited him about another season, another installment, maybe like a Fargo True Detective anthology take on it, or if he wants to do something different altogether. We're very proud of Watchmen, but what I'm most interested in is what Damon wants to do. They also reported that Lindelof told them he has no interest in a second season and gave HBO his blessing to do another season with someone else. So that seems pretty cut and dry, right? It seems like we're all done watching The Watchmen, or at least we're done watching The Watchmen on HBO for now. But it turns out reports of Watchmen's demise might have been greatly exaggerated. There's still some evidence left here to be examined. Because after reports went out that the show was no longer walking this mortal coil, Casey Bloys himself, ostensibly the man who controls its fate to an extent, tweeted out a Decider article that new seasons of Watchmen are still a possibility despite reports. So what's actually true here? Let's round up some evidence. In an interview with Variety last month, Damon Lindelof revealed his thoughts about doing more of the show, saying, should there be another season of Watchmen? And if there should be another season, what would it be? I'm not saying I don't want to do it or it shouldn't exist. I'm just saying, boy, every idea that I had went into this season of Watchmen. I'm gonna put up my antenna, see if it's receiving anything. And while it looks like he didn't get that eureka moment he was looking for, according to his quote in Thursday's USA Today, there's still plenty more to this story. In that same Variety article from December, Damon Lindelof also said, I actually do agree with HBO that this should be a continuing series. Maybe it'll continue in a year or two, maybe they'll continue it in 4 years or whatever, but I want to see more Watchmen. I always said to them, I do see Watchmen as Fargo, as True Detective. They were ongoing anthology shows, but each season had a design with a beginning, middle, and end that allowed subsequent seasons to feature entirely different characters or even be set in entirely different time periods. And this statement was reinforced by Casey Bloys' earlier tweet about doing an anthology series like Fargo or True Detective. So if it seems like Watchmen were to continue, it would definitely be in some sort of anthology fashion, much like the shows we mentioned already. And furthering the True Detective metaphor, we know HBO isn't going to rush things. Many credit True Detective Season 2's failure as due to the fact that the writing process for its sophomore season was significantly sped up to make sure it hit airwaves as soon as possible after the first one finished. And that's why when that season was panned, HBO took a step back and took their time to make an excellent third season. And it seems like HBO's learned their lesson from that. Sure, they'd want more seasons of Watchmen, but they're gonna make damn sure that the timing and the story is pitch perfect, even if that takes time. So while it's true that HBO isn't actively in production on a second season, they will still make one if all parties agree there's a new story to tell that's worth telling. And if we had to wager a guess, we'd say that there's a good chance the show will come back for another season, but it's going to be some time, at least a year or two, until we hear any sort of announcement. There are still plenty of mysteries left to explore, like who is Lube Man, even though we all know it's Petey? And what's up with Daniel Dryberg, aka the Night Owl, who we last heard was in prison? And how did the Red Scare dare become a Nazi.
I'm not a Nazi. I'm a communist.
But even if the show doesn't continue, it told a great story. And even if its ending was open-ended, it certainly wasn't a cliffhanger ending that definitely needs to be revisited. Even some of the writers involved with the show have given their support if Lindelof decides that Watchmen is just a one and done. We'll just have to wait and see, though, if the right story comes up. Eventually. But what do you folks think? Do you want a second season of Watchmen right now, or was one season enough? Did it make you want to go back and watch Damon Lindelof's other show, The Leftovers? And could you see it return as an anthology about different characters, like the Saga of Louvman, perchance?
The f***?
TikTok, HBO, ball's in your court. Let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe while you're at it? And if you want to get notified every time we go live with a new show or drop a new video, please feel free to mash that little bell. That way you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world.